Good afternoon, Flosstube.
I'm Little One.
And I'm Lynette, and we are at Homesteading on the Home Front. It is Wednesday, February 19th, and we are long overdue for an update. So here we are. When was the last time you were?
November, I think.
November. Well, it's been over a month since I filmed. So, February vacation, we're finally getting a chance to sit down and gather all of our supplies. So here we are. Get ready for some cross-stitch talk. This is episode number 56. Yeah. All right. So let's get right into it. I'll do some homestead updates at the end. But we'll just jump right into cross-stitch with finishes, because we have some finishes. Well,
you have.
I have some finishes.
I have one technically, but...
So the first one I have is actually the second time I've stitched this. I can't find the first one. The first time I did this, it was on tan. And I liked it so much, I redid it on this blue, and I think I'm going to stitch it on gray just to see which ones are my favorite. But this is from the Little Stitcher on Etsy, and I've loved this chart forever, but it was a little pricey for a little chart, and so when she had a sale over the holidays, I downloaded it quick. So I think it's called Red Bird or Little Red Bird or something like that. But basically, that's what I've been doing when I've been subbing. I take this in with me. It's a nice little project. It takes me usually 2 days of stitching in school, and I'm done. So can't wait to finish those. I think they're going to be cute. And then my next finish is the Blue Flower Sleeping Bee. When this came out, first of all, I loved it, and I knew I had to stitch it, but I also knew exactly how I was going to finish it, because when we went out to StitchCon, we visited with my husband's godparents, and Aunt Judy used to be a stitcher, and so she was giving us a tour of their new house, or they've been there a while, but we'd never been there. And we were down in the basement, and she gave me this tray. She said, "I'm not going to use it. Do you want it?" And I said, "Yes, please." And so that is how I decided to finish the Sleeping Bee. Now, I couldn't decide if I was going to paint the tray or leave it, and everyone on Instagram said, "Leave it." So we're leaving it. And that is the Sleeping Bee. And I just love how it turned out. And this one I actually did, I think it's 18 count. It's definitely Aida. And it was fantastic to go back to stitching on Aida. I think I'm going to be stitching on 18 and 20 count Aida more often, because it's just easier. I'm glad you have a lot of it. So that was that finish. That was the FFO. My other FFO, I did not stitch. This was stitched by my best friend. I don't know when, because she was a naughty girl and did not sign and date her work. But she moved houses, and going through stuff, she found this piece that was languishing. It's been years and years since she stitched it. So I told her I would finish it for her for Christmas. I'm a little late, but here we go. I'm going to kind of tilt it because there's lots of glare. But this is a lavender and lace angel. So the frame is the perfect size, right? Perfect size. Found it at Michael's. It was actually one of those floating frames. So it had this was black, and then it had 2 pieces of glass, and then you mount whatever you want in between. And so I painted the frame gold, and it still wasn't looking right. So then, I don't know if you can tell, but I kind of antiqued it with dry brushing some black on there, and now it matches almost perfectly. So I was getting ready to frame this, and I had the glass on the floor, like leaning, and I kind of just bumped it, but not real hard, and it completely broke. And I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to buy a new frame. And then I realized that because it was a floating frame, it came with 2 pieces of glass. So that was very lucky for me. So she is all done. And I thought I would just show her to you. I can't.
She's not as big as Sparrow.
She isn't as big as Sparrow, but she's pretty big.
Yeah.
So that's the second FFO. And you don't have any.
It'll be a while till I have it.
All right, so then let's move to current whips. You want to show them what you're working on?
Sure. I will be honest, I have not stitched a lot since November, and just these past few days I started stitching again. So there's not a whole lot of progress on this, but this is the Sue Hillis what is this called? It's not called anything, it's just watermelons being eaten. I did a little bit more of the pink border, and I've done 2 more watermelons. So they're sufficiently eaten.
And the next couple of watermelons are going to go fast because, see, that one's going to be easy. You can see where Sue signed this for her. Anyway, so that'll be done, and we know how we're going to finish that one, right?
Yeah, because we got one of those, like, whatchamacallits?
A cheese, I don't know if it was a cheese board or what. It had like tiles in it, so we took the tiles out, and it's long and skinny, and so I think that's what we're going to use for that.
And Helen gave us the green fabric that she used, so if it matches, we can use that.
Yep. All right, so that's your only whip?
Yeah, besides the Christmas thing.
Okay, so yes, this is, you guys have seen this before.
I finally got to work and I did my bit on it.
Little one insisted she wanted to stitch this square.
It had animals and no houses.
Because there was no house. So for those of you who are new, we found this piece at the thrift store in Ohio on our way to StitchCon. And it was mostly done. It was mostly done poor. Like the stitches are all crossed everywhere. There are lots of mistakes. I had to dye it to make the snow show up, which meant that I had to restitch all of the white, and I just went over whatever was there. And so basically it's done, except I was informed that I need to stitch the white of the sheep here. And then I have to go back and make sure I didn't miss anything, but that is going to be a finish pretty shortly, and I will be very happy to get that out of the whip pile.
I was happy to get it out of mine.
And then I think we're going to make it into a project bag, so it's just going to be added to the sewing whip pile, basically. That's how that goes. So special thanks to Helen for lending us the magazine. The whole pattern came in 3 magazines, and Helen lent us the magazine where these 3 were published. The top 2 were basically all done, so we didn't really need those. I did buy off of eBay this one because I needed to fill in some places. And then Helen gave us that one. And I don't remember which magazine it's from. Did I write it down somewhere? I don't know. You might want to check back to video number, like, we've been working on this forever. 53 or 54 or 51. We talked about it in all of them. And then my other whip.
Ooh. Still doing the back stitch?
I haven't really started the back stitch. This is Scenic Farm. You've all seen it and loved it. I am done the stitching. I just need to go and do all of the branches on the trees need to be added. So that is going to be probably my project next week once everyone's back in school. I want to get this absolutely done by February. This is one of my fair entries. The special theme this year, every year our fair has a special contest. And the theme this year is Down on the Farm. So this is going to be my entry into that category. So I need it. It absolutely needs to be done by August, but I am not going to want to stitch on this in good weather. So it's getting done next month.
I remembered what the other Christmas thing I got was.
Oh, and then, what else am I working on? Oh, this one. So I did a temporary swap for this pattern, the Good Housewife, the bird tree. And so I have been working on this one, and I am hoping that it will be done tonight or tomorrow. I just have to add the words, and they go fast, and then I have to finish up the bees. Now, you're supposed to do a French knot for the bees' heads, and that is not happening, so I'm just doing a 1/1. It's mystery fabric that I dyed. I have no idea what it is. And I have no idea how I'm going to finish it. So,
Like most things we stitch.
so interesting to note, I thought this was a companion piece to the Bee Man's Garden. So I wanted to use the same colors and frame it the same way. This one is way smaller. The stitch count is way smaller. And very few of the threads were the same color. So I decided, okay then, it's not going to be able to fit in the same frame. I don't care what I do it on. So I didn't even try to match the linen. I didn't try to match the threads. And yeah. So I think just these words, and then like I said, the bees in here. And I think I have to back stitch the legs on the birds, and then I'll be done. So I'm excited about that one. All right, those are my 2 whips.
I shared mine.
Okay, let's talk about your Christmas haul, since you didn't get to share what you got for Christmas.
I can't share some of them because it's just the patterns, but I got 3 Harry Potter charts. This is one of them. I'm probably not gonna stitch the entire thing, but I'll do like each one individually, so I'm less overwhelmed by how big it is.
This comes from CountryMagicStitch.com, which is also the website. If you've been watching Amy, she is stitching on, I forget what piece. Is it a Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings piece? Anyway, same website.
And I have 2 more, but they're just the charts.
Well, you can flash them. We'll flash them back here because it's so close.
Yeah.
So
it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. And then this one's just mischief managed. So I'm excited to stitch those at some point. And then this one's a big one and won't be done for a while or even started. Frederick the Literate. We did a puzzle, like, I think we did this same puzzle in Guam. And so now I have the cross-stitch version of it. And the books are all, like, Tale of Two Kitties. They're funny to go through.
Yep. And this looks like our cat Max.
Yep.
And special thanks to my friend Beth, who is where this one came from. So yeah, that might be a big undertaking. It's not going to be a lifetime project because it's only 11 by 12, but it is pretty much full coverage. And have you ever done a full coverage before?
The biggest project I've done is the reading sampler.
It's time. And then I can show what I got for Christmas from Little One.
Yes, you can.
She totally shocked me.
I stitched it in June at StitchCon while she was off visiting at other tables.
This is a little needle minder that says Armstrong Acres, which is the name of our farm / homestead / market garden. And yeah, I opened it up on Christmas and I was totally shocked. I had no idea she was working on that.
When I was pushing the button into the fabric to like complete it, I wasn't strong enough to do it, so I had to have my mom do, or I had to have Dad do it while Mom was sitting in the chair stitching. I was like, Dad, just can you do this real quick?
So that was a good surprise.
It was a very good surprise.
All right, so on to plans then.
Plans.
I feel like I should have had more to show
This?
since it's been a month, but
It's been like 4 for me.
Yes, what are your plans?
My plans. First of all, I really want to get the watermelons done soon, hopefully before winter break ends. And then, especially since Frugal Yankee is coming up and it'll be a year since I've started this.
Yeah, you started this at Frugal Yankee last year.
This is like an Abigail Adams tribute piece. Salute to Abigail.
Oh, I don't have the book that came out of. It's off on the shelf, but that's all right. Remember last year when everyone was doing the patriotic pieces?
I haven't finished it yet.
It's Blackbird Design. Is it My Country 'Tis of Thee? Sweet Land of Liberty. Sweet Land of Liberty is the name of the book that it came from.
But I really like the colors. And originally I'd stopped because I was going to have to frog what I thought was a lot, but it turns out we're not going to have to do a whole lot. So I'm hoping to really get going on this once I finish with the watermelons. And then once I finish the watermelons, I'm just gonna have the Abigail Adams thing. So at Frugal Yankee, I'm gonna start Lizzie Kate, USA Squared, and then I'm probably just gonna bring this to do as well. But before that, I've got more plans for needle minders. I still just have the 4 I showed in a video at some other point, but I've got a plan for quite a few other needle minders, so I'm excited for Frugal Yankee with all of my hand-stitched needle minders.
She wants to trade needle minders at Frugal Yankee, so
keep that in mind.
Yep.
Do I do this?
Mm-hmm.
We got a book in the mail from Becky. Thank you. I've looked through it, and there's a few projects that I really want to do.
Yeah, and this is it's a cooler design studio. I didn't know they had it in them to do little designs. Usually they do the big
one?
The big involved ones, yes. All right, so my plans, as I mentioned, plan number 1 is I want to finish backstitching Scenic Farm because that needs to be done. And then in March, my schedule that I did has me starting this project, which I'm excited about. I've been wanting to stitch this one for a while. It's deceptively small, right? If you look at this, you think it's probably 8 by 14 or something like that. Nope, it is not. It's 4 by 8.5 if you do it on 18 count. So I looked through my stash of linen to figure out what I could do this on. My plan for this is to just make it a flat fold and then mount it in like maybe a grapevine wreath. And so it really doesn't matter what the finished size is because it's not like I need a frame for it. So I went through my stash and I was all excited because this is what I'm going to be using. Now this, if you can tell, is a linen napkin that I found at, I found like a package of 5 of them for, I don't know, $5 at an antique store. And I bought it thinking, that's linen, I can stitch on that. And so what I did is I did some test stitches up here in the corner. And I have found that it's an uneven. It's 13 stitches per inch in one direction and 14 in the other. Which again, because I'm not framing this, it really doesn't matter what size it turns out to be. So that's my frugal tip of the day for you, is when you're out at resale shops, look for tablecloths, napkins. I've even bought linen skirts and dresses and cut them up and use the linen for stitching on. So I'm looking forward to this one. I am using my own conversion. So I put some Victorian motto threads together, and I think they're really gonna pop on this linen. So I'm excited about that. I can't wait to start that one. I wanted it to be a Frugal Yankee stitch. But there's just too much counting. There's really not any giant fill-ins that I can work on while I'm chatting. And so I decided this might be a Frugal Yankee start, but I'm not going to do a lot of stitching on it because I will sure as shoot and make some big mistakes. So then I went looking through my projects that I wanted to complete this year, and none of them really had big spaces that I could just fill in. Last year at Frugal Yankee, I worked on the house and the sparrow sampler, and that was fantastic because I didn't have to think at all. And so I went through all my projects, and I was having a really hard time because most of them are samplers that, just require counting and letters, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And then I found this piece that I had bought last year at Bush Mountain. And if you look close, my plan is to have this be my school stitching piece and do all of the dark outlining all around the border and all in here. And then at Frugal Yankee, I can stitch that brownish, tannish color and just fill in, and that will be very brainless. And that'll be a good portion of this chart done if I can finish it. So that's what I'm going to do there. Again, I'm doing my own color conversion. These are lovely colors. I can't wait. I'm using sulky instead of black because I am doing it on 14 count, and so I wanted something a little thicker. But I'm still going to use one strand even on 14 count. You guys know how I roll. You see that? I love these colors. They're going to be fantastic. All right, so that is my end of February, March plans. There's one more project that I want to start in March, but I need to pull colors and figure out exactly what I'm doing. It's going to be a sampler. There is a deadline for it. I will tell you all about that probably the next time that I film, but I would like to start that one in March as well because it needs to be done by July. So that's my plans. All right, I guess all we have left is to talk about is Frugal Yankee, which we have mentioned. For those of you who are new to our channel, Frugal Yankee is a retreat.
A frugal retreat.
This is the second annual Frugal Yankee retreat. Basically, a bunch of us stitchers show up to a residence inn, we make our room reservations, and we take over their common space and just stitch for the weekend. And it's fantastic. We are full up. We are full up. Like, at this point, I am crossing my fingers for last minute cancellations because we are full up. But it's going to be fine, even if, I hope everyone can come because obviously I want to see everybody. But new this year is spirit wear. So if you are going to the retreat, you're on our Facebook page, the link is there for spirit wear, which there's been a great response, so I'm excited about that. If you can't come to Frugal Yankee, then I'm sure you will see some of the clothing items being worn afterwards. We are going to have a smalls exchange, so there's no rules. It's stitch what you want. The only guideline is that your wrapping should give a hint as to what's inside. So if you stitch an ornament, use some Christmas. If you do patriotic, do some red, white, and blue. If it's Halloween, wrap it in Halloween. That way, if somebody doesn't want Christmas, they don't have to take a Christmas package. If somebody doesn't decorate for Halloween, then they don't have to take a Halloween package. So that's that. And then, we're going to have a needle minder trade. So if you're coming and you have some needle minders to trade, bring them along. Somebody's looking forward to that.
I don't need more needle minders though.
Anyway, so, and I didn't tell you, the Frugal Yankee is is in March, the second half of March. So it'll be a while yet before that happens. And I'm hoping to film another episode before we have the actual retreat.
I might not be in it, though.
But yeah, you'll probably be in school. So I think that's it as far as stitching goes. We have been busy here on the homestead because maple season kind of caught us by surprise this year. It was 2.5, 3 weeks earlier than last year. Last year we tapped on Valentine's Day, and this year it was the end of January. Our first boil was January 28th or 29th. So I've been busy because I did not anticipate it being that early. So I had taken some sub days. I prefer to do only 1 day a week during maple season because that kind of frees me up so that I can boil whenever I need to, depending on the weather. But I had taken a couple days a week, so that kept me busy. Hoping things are going to calm down after this week because I'm only on 1 day every week for the next couple of weeks, so that'll be good. It'll give me some stitching time, but yet I'll be a little more free when it comes to having to boil sap. So I'm getting a lot of reading done, sitting by the fire outside reading. Yeah, I think that's it. My seeds are started. Last year I went by the rule of thumb when it comes to starting seeds, and they weren't quite as far along as I wanted them to be when it came time to put them outside. So I started a little early this year. In fact, I just planted up my first tray of tomatoes today. So I'm excited about that. Spring is coming. Yay. All right, with that, I think we will sign off. Hopefully it will not be another month before we see you again. Wish you fair winds and following seas. Bye, Flosstube.